Good afternoon and happy St. Patrick's Day. This is Amy Simpson, PR Director at Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College, and I would like to welcome everyone to our chat today with our Allied Health Directors. We're going to be joined by people in several different allied health fields, and they're the experts. They're here to answer any questions that potential students or current students may have about their programs. And they're going to be talking about what their programs are all about. If there's something in a healthcare field that you've always thought you might be interested in, then this is the place to be today to just get your questions answered and to learn more about our programs. So first, I would like to introduce, we've got several folks with us today. From our Physical Therapist Assistant Program, we have Tracy Bowling.
Hello, everybody.
And Delilah Turner. Say hi, Delilah.
I had to find my mute button. I'm with respiratory.
Jill. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. All right.
We have
Jill. I'm sorry, Jill Dixon. Can't read my chicken scratch notes there. I'm sorry, Jill.
Hello, everyone.
Out there. Okay, so since we're starting with Physical Therapist Assistant Program, who would like to start? Tracy, you're the regional director, is that correct?
I am. I'm the regional program coordinator, and it is a regional program between Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College and Hazard Community and Technical College. It's a 2-year program, and the first step in applying to the program is to attend a pre-admission conference. Now, if you look on the website right now, it'll say that all of our conferences are over, but we have added 2 new conferences to be able to apply by our April 1st deadline, and those should be up on our website soon. And those conferences, for anyone who wants to apply, the first one is on Wednesday, March 23rd, and that will be at a.m. And then the second one will be Monday, March 28th. And that one's going to be at 2:00. And you just have to attend one. You don't have to attend both of them. So you just choose which one you want to attend. But that's the 2 last chance conferences to apply for the program for our April 1st deadline.
Let me just ask you a question about the pre-admission conferences. Now, you said these used to be, of course, face-to-face back before the pandemic, but now they're all online.
They are, but online, they're actually on Teams. Once they register for those conferences, those online conferences, they will get an email that gives them a link to join the Teams meeting. And at that Teams meeting, myself and the faculty are there to answer any types of questions that they may have about application.
Okay, so is it a formal kind of a thing, or is it kind of an informal? What should a student expect?
Well,
nervous.
It's actually just informational. At first, I will give my spiel about the program, what's required for application, those kind of things. And then after that, and throughout the whole conference, we welcome any questions that a student might have. So if you're nervous about entering it, you're not on the screen unless you want to be on the screen. So you don't have to open your camera up for everybody to see. If you have a question, you can type that into the chat box, or if you don't mind saying it out in front of everybody, then you can absolutely come online and ask the question.
Oh, I assume that would help a lot of students, because it would, if you're in a classroom, you can kind of hide in the back, but when you're up here on the screen, kind of like the Brady Bunch, the way we are, then unless we turn our camera off, then. So that's great that they've got that kind of flexibility.
Yes, they can. Actually, we ask them, because of the way the conference is set up, to make sure there's not a lot of interference. We ask them to turn off their cameras and their microphones unless they do have a question that they want to ask.
Okay.
So they're not posted in front of everybody in the world to see. They can do it more back in that back seat of the classroom type style.
So to speak, yes.
Yes.
Jill, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Just that it's a rewarding profession, and I think everyone would really enjoy it. You never do the same thing every day when you're working, and it's just basically fun, and you've made a difference in people's lives, and that's why I chose to be a physical therapist in the first place.
Actually, as someone who's been in physical therapy recently, I am very familiar with what a physical therapist assistant does. But why don't you? There may be some people out there that have no earthly idea. If they've never injured their knee or anything like that, then they don't know what a physical therapist or physical therapist assistant does. So what do you do?
You can see various patients. You can see babies. I've seen babies in the NICU. I've seen patients in nursing homes, sports related. I've been called out to the floor to check someone's ACL during a ball game. If they're there for pain control, you can help control their pain, or you can strengthen them. You may see a baby take their first steps, and you played a part in that. So there's just various things that you can do in the profession.
What in the world would you work with tell me what you'd work with a baby on? Is it maybe like a preemie or a child that hasn't quite developed physically yet? Or
when they were in the NICU, I worked with them a sucking reflex to get them to where they could take their bottle, or just following your hands as you were talking to them and just making sure that their eyes were tracking and things like that. Plus, once they get older, you're going to work on crawling. You're going to work on walking. Anything that baby's not doing on time.
Okay. And so you could work with babies, and then I'm assuming elderly people too need to have, or what about people who have been in traffic accidents?
Anytime that they are in pain or their motion has decreased because of that pain, that's where we come in. We're going to do different things to take their pain away and get that motion back, strengthen them up, and get them back to whatever they were doing before they got hurt.
That seems like such a rewarding field.
It really is.
So do you still work, and this goes out to both of you, do you still work in the field, or are you primarily in the classroom now?
I'm in the classroom.
And I'm primarily in the classroom too. I am on some PRN schedules at places, but I do very little PRN. I'm mostly in the classroom.
Okay. Let's see what we want to emphasize also that for physical therapist assistant for this program, these pre-admission conferences need to be done first, correct? Before the student applies.
Yes, that's their first step in applying to the program. So they can't even access our application for the program until they attend a pre-admission conference.
Okay, so it's very, very important. And the deadline for admission is April 1st.
April 1st, yes. And so that's the only two conferences that I announced a while ago. That's the only two conferences left for that April 1st deadline at this point.
Okay. I don't know if Dakota, can you throw those dates up by any chance? What were those dates again, Tracy, if you don't mind?
That was March 23rd. That's Wednesday, March 23rd, this coming Wednesday.
Okay.
At 10 o'clock.
A.M., I suppose.
A.M., okay. Absolutely. And then we have Monday, March 28th at 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how do students register?
They will go to our website and go to the pre-admission conferences, and out beside that date, there will be a register link there. Once they register, then they will get an email with the link to attend the conference.
Okay, wonderful. And so this is for the entering class for fall. Is that correct? So you if you miss out this year, you'd have to wait until April 1st of the next year, right?
Yes.
Just accept new students in the fall.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Is there a limit on the number of students you accept into the program?
There is. We do look at selective admissions, so we accept 24 students each year. That's 12 at Hazard and 12 at Southeast for a total of 24.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so
Very competitive, but don't ever sell yourself short. Please follow through with the application because you never know who you're applying against.
What good point. And also, because this is an allied health program, I mean, this is a program where you're out working in the field with people. In order to work, the students have to take some kind of licensure exam afterwards. Is that correct?
They do. They have to sit for the national licensing exam for the physical therapist assistant at the end of the 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so we prepare you for those 2 years. We prepare you to be able to sit for that licensing exam, and they have to pass that licensing exam in order to be a PTA.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so this is so what are some of the job opportunities? We've hit on them a little bit, but they might be working, say, in a hospital or a private clinic, or what are some other places that a PTA might work?
Yes, there's so many opportunities. Basically, if you have an interest in something, whether that interest be sports, you can do sports physical therapy. If you have an industry interest, we have graduates who is the PTA for Toyota manufacturing in their plant. I have been 7 miles back and 230 some feet down. I've bent roof bolts. I've watched the miners work. So anything that you have an interest in, if you're interested in sports, you can do sports medicine physical therapy. If you're interested in babies, you can do things like first steps and play with babies all day, but you're actually treating them. You can do geriatric physical therapy where you might be working in nursing homes or out in home health. So there's just a wide variety. It's not just a hospital or a clinic. There's a wide variety of settings that you can do. And you can travel. If you want to be a traveling physical therapist assistant, you can do that. Make a lot of money and see the world.
Or if you want to stay right here at home, I assume that's a field that is in demand here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you both. We'll circle back since I've already had Delilah up here a little early. Let's move on to respiratory care. We've got Sarah Mullins and Delilah Turner. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Again. Okay, so we're going to talk to you a little bit about the respiratory care program. And this is a program I got to know a little bit more about when COVID first hit, because respiratory care therapists were getting so much attention because you were so needed out in the field when the pandemic hit. So it was fascinating talking to some of your graduates who were out in the field making a difference in people's lives. But let me just open it up to both of you. Just tell students a little bit about this program and why it might interest them.
Well, I'm Delilah Turner. I'm the program director for respiratory care on the Whitesburg campus. Southeast is blessed. We have 2 separate respiratory programs, our Whitesburg campus, and then there's also an individual campus on Pineville. So we're separate programs, but we're within the same college. So we're blessed to have that. There is such a need for respiratory therapists right now. There's a shortage, and it continues. If you go to ONET or one of those sites, you'll see that there's a bright outlook for respiratory therapist jobs. Nationally, there's a shortage, and then locally, there's a shortage. And so the way we start our program about the application process is our application is actually online. So you can go to the Southeast website And probably the fastest way to find the application is in the little search bar. Type in program applications, and it'll bring you up like a search page, and then it's like one or two in the line of that'll come up on that page. So that is where you can find our application to the respiratory program really quickly. So after we receive your application, then Ms. Mullins, who is on this call with us today, she and I will evaluate the applications, and then we'll call you and we'll send you a link to a virtual conference. And if you don't have, if you haven't been in touch with us, you can still join our program director with marketing, Sean Lynn, actually cycles the respiratory pre-admission conference. I'll get it. I had a moment. So they'll cycle our pre-admission conference schedule around, and our next pre-admission conference is on February the 28th. And we have one scheduled for every other Monday for the rest of the semester at 4:00. So next Monday, and then every other Monday at 4 p.m., you can actually log into one of our pre-admission conference sessions.
And what is the deadline to apply, Delilah?
The deadline to apply is May the 1st.
Okay.
So we take applications all the way through May the 1st. And then sometime during the first week of May, our admission committee will get together, and then we'll go through all of the applicants. We can take 20 applicants on the Whitesburg campus. So we can take 20 students for our next cohort. Some of the classes that you might need as prereqs, you'll need Anatomy and Physiology 1. You'll need English 101. And a math class, Math 110, Math 146, or Math 150, one of those math classes. And so there's still time. If you don't have those prereqs, you can take those in the summer. There's 2 different summer sessions, so you could potentially get all of those prereqs completed in the summer. We've had applicants do that before. And so another thing that we do is, you have those 3 prereqs, and then we can work with your schedule that you get all the rest of your Gen Ed classes while you're in the respiratory program.
Oh, good. So in other words, if students don't have those courses yet, they shouldn't let that stop them from applying if they're interested.
That's correct, because they can apply if they are registered for those prereqs. We do require an ACT score. And one good thing about our program is an 18-month program. We used to be 2 years. And so we've accelerated the program. You still graduate with an Associate of Applied Science degree in respiratory care. So you still get the associate's degree. It's just an accelerated program.
And why do we do that? I'm sure there was a need for that. There's a reason.
One of the reasons is because there is such a need, such a shortage of respiratory therapists. And so the hospitals are our classes are graduating and not being able to fulfill the needs of our local hospitals. We don't have enough graduates to fill all of the open positions. So one of the reasons that we did that is we were looking to help out our workforce, and it also, students want to get out as quickly as they can. So they don't want to stay in school forever. So this is just one way that we thought we could be able to work that in for them. And so we have our 3rd class actually going through the 18-month program at this time. Ms. Mullins, would you like to discuss some of the places that respiratory therapists can work?
Sure.
Respiratory therapy, there's many different fields you can work in. You can work in a NICU. You can work with the premature babies. You can work in a pediatric ICU and work with children. You can work in an adult ICU and respiratory care in the ICU, manages the life support machine, the ventilators. You can also work out on the medical floor, just taking care of the general patients, the medical patients. You can work in rehab facilities, rehabbing patients that have had to have part of their lung removed because they've had lung cancer, or rehabbing black lung patients, which we have. We live in the coal fields. Coal's a big thing for us, so we have a lot of black lung patients, so you can help rehab them and work with them getting their lung strength back up. You can work with COPD patients at the rehabilitation facilities. You can even work with heart patients in rehab. You can work in a black lung clinic, helping coal miners get their black lung. There's many different areas that you can work with respiratory.
Do they ever have flight? I know, like, you have flight nurses sometimes. Do you also have respiratory care who do the flights?
Yes.
Actually, some of our graduates are actually flight RTs.
Wow. That sounds exciting.
Yes. And, we've had graduates that complete the program and go straight into like Cincinnati Children's and, work in their NICUs. Cincinnati Children's is a big hospital for, it's a top hospital of the United States for pediatric and neonates. So it's great that we have graduates there. So we do lots of things, as Ms. Mullins was talking about. Like, we are the life support specialist. We take care of the ventilators on adult patients and our neonatal patients from our micro preemies that are 20 weeks. So we manage the life support systems for those. And we do other things. Everybody thinks we just do breathing treatments because that's what they see us do most often. But it's so much more than that. It's a very rewarding career. And you are one breath at a time, you're helping someone's to feel better one breath at a time, we say. We have specialty areas also. I don't think the public is really aware. You can get your specialty degree in neonatal and pediatrics. Like, after graduation, you don't have to attend any more school. You can just apply to take that exam. So that's neonatal and pediatric specialist. There's an adult critical care specialist. There's sleep specialist. Like, if you have to have a CPAP or something like that to help you breathe at night, there's a lot of our public, that's on CPAP. Well, one of the people who evaluate those patients are respiratory therapists, and there's polysomnography and sleep studies. So we work in that area. Also in our outpatient clinics with pulmonary function testing. So you can, with a pulmonary function test, you can stage what level of COPD that you have, or in those kinds of things. So that goes along a lot with the pulmonary rehab that we have. Let's see. I know one thing that everybody wants to talk about is how much can I make as a respiratory therapist? That is the question everybody asks. So the median salary in the United States is a little over $62,000 a year. We can, here in our local area, therapists are making $27.91 an hour. here locally, so you don't even have to leave. Just like nursing and physical therapy, in those areas that can travel, respiratory therapists can also travel. And so there's lots of money to be made, but we also want to have fill the jobs that we have at home. So if anybody would like to apply, we welcome a chance to get to talk with you and for you to fill out that application.
Well, thank you. So to reiterate here, you do need to go, if you're a student who's interested in this program, you do need to go to the conference. Is that correct? The pre-admission conference, but you can go ahead and start your application even before you do that.
That is correct. That is correct. And again, our next virtual conference is on February the 28th, and we have one scheduled for every other Monday. So
until your May 1st deadline.
Until the May 1st deadline. And if those are not good days for you to meet, then just contact Ms. Mullins or myself, and we'll be glad to meet with you one-on-one. It's usually the student and Ms. Mullins and myself together. So if one of us doesn't get through, the other one will. So
well, thank you so much. Let's see, next up is medical assisting, Dana Mills and Leanne Turner, and you're both together. So hello, how are you all doing today?
We're good.
Well, so tell us, so you're in medical assisting, and medical assisting has been at the college for longer than you would think. It's been around how many years?
I've been here 25 in October, and it was here about 3 years prior to my arrival. So we're looking at about 28 years.
Right. So it's been here a while. And so to someone who doesn't know, who has never heard of the program before, what does a medical assistant do?
You want to take this? Sure. We do a little bit of everything, from clinical, lab, administrative, and I'll let Dana go into a little bit more specifics of exactly what we're talking about.
We basically do a lot of the skills that you see in a clinic setting. If you go to the clinic, most of the time the person who checks you in is a medical assistant. They work in the office. They're trained to do administrative and the clinical side. Sometimes working along with nurses, or sometimes even CNAs, or, just according to what the clinic prefers to hire. You do phlebotomy, which is drawing blood. You do some of the tests that go with that. We do any of the swabs, flu swabs, COVID swabs, cultures. You do all the vitals. You document in the charts. You do pre-certifications for medications and tests that the doctors may order. You're basically the doctor's right-hand man. You do everything that he needs ordered or whatever. And it's just according to how the clinic's structured, to who does that. And sometimes MAs are just hired as the administrative part. Sometimes they're hired just in the lab. And then sometimes they're hired just to do the clinical side. And then sometimes you may work somewhere where you do every portion of it. Right. It's just according to how it's structured. So you're right. You call in prescriptions. I explain it to students a lot, because a lot of people get confused about the difference between it and nursing. Nursing, it's just the settings of where, you're trained. Your medical assistants more trained in a clinic setting, and typically the nurses are trained in the hospital setting. So that's basically the difference, is the setting of where you would work.
Okay. All right. So by vitals, of course, you're talking about blood pressure and
right.
Yeah.
Heart weight, temperature, respirations.
Okay. So what about as far as applying to the program? Do you have a deadline this semester? Do you have pre-admission conferences going?
Well, we do have pre-admission conferences going. We're kind of a unique program. We have an evening program going in Pineville, and we actually have an evening program here on the Harlan campus now. I don't think we're going to run that program next semester, but we'll be starting another evening program in Pineville. And then we have 2-day programs, one on the Whitesburg campus and one on the Harlan campus. So our start dates are a little different. We have 2 different start dates. So for the Pineville evening program, our next start date will be in August. So when we come back in the fall, we'll be beginning a new cohort. We're in the middle of the day program right now. So our next start date for the day program, Harlan and Whitesburg, will be in January in the spring. We also do pre-admission conferences. We actually had one today. Our next pre-admission conference is March 31st at noon, April 14th, and April the 28th. And our deadline to apply for the evening program is set for August the 1st.
Okay, so that's the evening program in the fall.
Yes.
So August 1st.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Then if they're interested in the January program with Harlan Days and Whitesburg Days, around December the 15th, before school lets out, that's our deadline for that program.
Okay. Okay, so for this program, you've got basically 2 chances in the year to join a cohort.
Yes.
Okay. And how long does the program take? Is it 18 months or 2 years?
No, it's 2 semesters.
2 semesters.
2 semesters. Okay. Basically a year. We do some winter session, and we also do a summer session. It's an accelerated program, so it's 2 semesters and then maybe a summer, but it's very accelerated. First semester is generally in the classroom, in the lab areas, and the second semester they spend a lot of time on their clinical site.
Okay. So they do get an associate in applied science?
Yes, they can get that if they choose to, but we're a diploma level program.
Okay.
So either one. A lot of students already have the classes needed for that, so we encourage them to go ahead and apply to get that degree. But the medical assisting program is a diploma level program.
Okay.
We also run phlebotomy off of this program as well, and we offer the phlebotomy certificate. We rotate it from Pineville to Harlan each semester. So we do have that as well to offer underneath the program.
And how long does that one take?
We run it in 8 weeks. It's an 8 week. It's a bi-term, yes, for the phlebotomy certificate.
So 8 weeks and you've got your certificate.
In phlebotomy, yes.
Okay. Wow. So that would be great. These accelerated programs would be great for someone who needs to get a credential and get into work quickly.
Yes.
Who doesn't need to, who can't go 4 years without a paying job. So somebody with a family or people who have to pay bills,
right,
to get into the workforce. These kinds of programs would be ideal.
Yes, that was one of the reasons why we wanted to begin the evening program. We had a lot of phone calls from the Middlesboro, Pineville, Bell County, even in Virginia, Barberville, and it was just too far to come to Harlan or too far to go to Whitesburg. A lot of them had jobs. So we designed the program on the Pineville campus and to meet the needs of those students. And it's first semester, we go 2 evenings a week. Mm-hmm. And then the second semester, it's 3 evenings a week. So it helped those types of students, the non-traditional, that have jobs and have families that they want to go back to school. It helped them and allowed them to be able to come back and attend Southeast and get their medical assisting diploma.
Sure. So they work while they're going to
yes.
school. So,
yes.
And they're in school full time. They're doing about 17 to 19 credit hours a semester where it's accelerated.
Yeah. It is accelerated, and we've designed it too where we can do a lot of classes. We utilize hybrid online methods to bring that to the student.
By hybrid, explain to the uninitiated, what does hybrid mean?
Well, hybrid, a lot of our lectures, it means a lot of our lectures are online. We'll post videos and lectures through online, and then they will have to come to class to get the laboratory component, the lab skills. So it's hard to perform the skill at home. So we bring them into the lab and they practice the skill, perform the skill, and perform their competency checkoffs, which is if they're learning to do a blood pressure, then we teach them how to do that, and they have to perform at a standard and check. We call it checkoffs and check off with that. And that's that would be done in the lab setting. While being hybrid, they can attend the lecture component at home and do a lot of the classwork at home.
Okay, gotcha. Now, does this field also have a like a board exam or a licensure exam that you take?
Yes, I'll let you explain
Okay.
that. Go ahead.
Currently, it is not mandatory that you have it. We do recommend that you they have to be applied for their boards before they graduate the program and pass an exit exam, but they do not have to actually have taken their boards to get out of the program and graduate. All the facilities around are now requiring certification. It used to not be. You could just choose to take it or not take it, but now they're not really hiring anybody without it. A lot of places may hire them and give them like a year to complete it or whatever. But yeah, they finish in December. We register them for their boards, and they have a year from that day to take it before they lose the registration fee or whatever. But most of our students go ahead and take it immediately while everything's fresh on them. And plus, it makes them more employable to say, hey, I've already got my certification. It's not a license. We're not required to be licensed, but it's a certification, and it's about a 3-hour test that they take, and it is timed.
Okay. All right. Okay. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you'd like to add?
I don't think so. Do you have anything?
Just maybe about how I can kind of piggyback on what Delilah said. All these allied health programs right now, especially with the pandemic and things that are going on, they are desperate for employees. We are called daily. I mean, I graduated 6 in my program in December, and every single one of them had jobs before they even got their transcripts in the mail. That's how demand, and it was local. One company hired all 6 of mine, and they took the job. So I think it's just a high demand right now for all healthcare. They all kind of work together to help each other. You need medical assistants in the clinic. You need the respiratory therapists in the hospital, nurse. All the allied health type jobs are very demanding right now. You can't go wrong by getting into the healthcare field at all right now.
So whether you want to stay at home and stay close to your family here, or if you want to travel and get a job, either way, those are in demand.
Yes. And medical assistants, they can also travel if that's what they choose. There are several organizations that will employ traveling. The stint for the traveling medical assistant, though, is usually a day shift, 6 to 8 week stints at different not hospitals, but different clinics. I think the last one I seen was in the Louisville area. So that is a job potential if that's something you want to do. But normally our students are employed immediately after they graduate because the demand is high right now. We have a lot of partnerships throughout the region that contact us when they need medical assistance. And it's sad to say that we just can't get them out fast enough. I wish that, there was something we can do, but we just, it's 2 semesters, and when they graduate, most of the time if they want a job and they are currently seeking, they shouldn't have any trouble in getting a job.
Wow, that's exciting. That's a great opportunity for students. Well, thank both of you. Last but not least, I'd like to move to Aster Halcomb. I think you're by yourself today for radiography.
That's right. I'm sitting here chomping at the bit, ready to go.
I know. Well, welcome, Aster. So tell us a little bit about the radiography program. We've heard about 3 other great allied health programs, and radiography is certainly one of them.
We're ready. The radiography program is a regional program, similar to like the physical therapy program talked about. We have students on the Whitesburg campus and students on the Hazard campus. Radiography program is a 2-year program. You graduate with an Associate of Applied Science, and you take a national registry at the end of those 2 years to license you to work throughout the United States or wherever you might want to work at. The job market is wide open, and we're getting calls daily needing graduates to work out there. So we're getting ready to graduate 18 this spring. And I'm sure all of those can go to work, or if they want to, in our field, they could actually transfer on to like a Moorhead or Northern Kentucky offers some bachelor imaging in radiography, and they can articulate into something like that to maybe be certified in some of the more advanced modalities like CT, MR, or in our field, you can actually do some on-the-job training and then end up taking those registries on their own at a later date with some continuing education and some training on the job. So the job's wide open. We had some people come in today, one of the larger local hospitals, recruiting students or recruiting people to come work for them in May. Opportunities are wonderful. One thing I was listening to was the respiratory therapy. I thought our pay rate was good, but theirs is a little higher. They were saying start pay in our area is around $21 to $25 an hour. Some places start out about 25. Outside of our area, that pay scale goes up. And a radiographer, we are the X-ray techs out there, or radiologic technology is another term for us. But we're in the hospital taking X-rays in any clinic that does imaging. And then again, we are the people that goes on to do the CTs, MRs, most of the sonography stuff, anything along those areas. But now our program, our application deadline is coming up April the 1st. We have one more pre-admission conference, and that's on March 21st. Okay. March the 21st at 3 p.m. is our last pre-admission conference for the upcoming fall semester. We take in students once a year. So March 21st, 3 p.m. is our last pre-admission conference.
So is yours sort of like the PTA program in that a student must go to the pre-admission conference in order to apply?
Yes, that's exactly right. We have to start with the pre-admission conference, and then there is a email link sent to them for the program application. Now, to get to their virtual pre-admission conferences at this time, to get to our virtual pre-admission conference, they go to our college website, either Southeast or Hazard, go to the programs and scroll down and find regional, ours says Whitesburg Regional Radiography. And you click on that link, you're inside our program webpage. You scroll down, it says pre-admission conference dates. Click there, and then it's the date there. This place says register here. So you just register up, show up online at 3 o'clock Monday, and we will be talking about how to get into the program, what the application process is, anything they might need, that type of thing. Okay. I would say that we do have prerequisites. Our only prerequisites are Anatomy 1 and Anatomy 2. Now, those have to be completed prior to beginning the radiography courses themselves. Okay.
Okay. But now they can apply if they haven't taken those courses. Is that correct?
That is correct. And like even looking at the fall coming up, you could pick these up summer 1, summer 2, or they might be currently in Bio 137, and they can pick the other one up in the summer or something like that. Yes. Okay. But those are the only 2 courses that have to be completed prior to beginning the program. And it is a selective admissions. We take 12 students on the Whitesburg campus and 12 students on the Hazard campus. And then we also have alternates in case somebody doesn't accept their position. That way we can pull somebody in. And we want to start with those full classes.
Okay. And is there a big demand for radiography graduates just as the other allied health?
Yes. I've been in the field for well over 30 years, been teaching 28 years, and the job market may be as good as it's ever been. And we have graduates that are out in the area, they can get a job. But even, I'm getting job conferences from all over, job fairs for different areas, northern United States, southern United States, western United States. So they could go anywhere because once they pass that registry, they're licensed to work throughout the United States or anywhere that they want to. But the job market's wide open. And this is kind of an ebb and, there's sometimes there's great need for radiographers. Sometimes that gets a little tight. but right now it's wide open and they're begging for people to work. Our program needs some people in it. We need some applicants, especially on the Whitesburg side. What we're having is we need good people to apply to the program. So it's an excellent opportunity to get into a field that is a wonderful lifelong career with lots of opportunities for advancement. And the job market's wide open. It looks to be that way for quite some time.
So if you have a degree in radiography and you're doing primarily x-rays, those kinds of images, but you also mentioned CT and MRI,
Right.
do you have to go on and get additional credentials for that, or professional development, or?
Yeah, you may, or you can do it through professional development and on-the-job training. And then you can actually take an advanced registry through the American Registry of Radiologic Technologists, just like your radiography registration, and do this on the job with some continuing education credits, some professional development credits. And it's through the same licensure group that does radiography. Also, we have graduates like last May, we had graduates go straight to work in heart cath labs. And then we got graduates working in, they call it interventional radiography, which we used to call special procedures back when I was young. And this is working in areas where they're doing neurological surgeries and that type of thing. But it's a special intervention with radiologic technology. They go through the blood vessels and work on different areas and things like that.
So sort of imaging with like contrast,
Yes.
that sort of thing.
And then the heart stents, that type of thing. They also do those in the brain in different areas. But this is, like I said, we have graduates, several graduates that went straight into heart cath. And basically what they have to do is they do on-the-job training. And it's an intense about 6 months before they turn them loose. But they take them straight in, start training them right away. We got graduates working all over our area, Frankfort, Lexington, different areas where that they're doing heart casts, and that's their primary job, Monday through Friday.
Well, that's interesting because I think it's probably a misconception that radiography is just about broken bones.
Oh, definitely, our chest X-rays. If you go to the operating room, there's a radiographer in there with you. If you have those broken bones, we got a broken hip. Once we take that initial radiograph, that's not the end of the radiographer's job. We go to the OR, and in the OR, we operate a mobile fluoro unit called a C-arm, and we are there. And the surgeon actually, I do this because it's over top of the patient. But what we do is we pick up an image of what the physician is doing, and they actually use that for documentation that they've done what they say they're doing. And then they also watch themselves and make sure they're doing exactly what they have intended to do.
Oh, okay. So that you're actually imaging the inside of the patient
while they're working
what
on
they're
it.
doing. Okay.
Yeah. And then there's times that we do these things like a pacemaker. We also operate the fluoro in the operating room for like a pacemaker insertion, and during the time that they're introducing that into the patient. And again, the physician or the surgeon relies on the images to do their job. So we're out there, lots of places. There's radiographers.
Wow, that is fascinating. Well, I'll tell you what, we've just got a few minutes left. If we could have everybody back, if they haven't left us. Dakota, do we have folks still here? Oh, yay, Sarah's here. Delilah's still here. Good. Tracy, Jill, great. Well, thank all of you for being here today. I would just like to go around to each one of you and see if you have any kind of parting thoughts that you'd like to leave us with. I'll start down at the bottom with Leanne and Dana.
No, just that if you're interested in medical assisting, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And you can reach either one of us at 589-3234 or Dana's number at 589-3203. We're more than happy to speak with you. We open the classroom, the lab up if you want to come in and just observe and kind of see what medical assisting is all about. Speak with you, talk to you, give you some insight. Get you a schedule, get you started on the prereqs. And one other thing that we didn't mention is that our program is designed to where the prerequisites, there's 4 classes that you need, which is 135 by 135, 137 or 139, CIT 105, Tech 200 or English 101, and medical terminology. But all of those classes can be embedded as you go through the program. So you can come in and we can put you in some of the courses, but you can also begin the program at the same time. So if you have any questions, just please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to speak with you.
Well, thank you. All right. And let's have see Tracy and Jill.
Yes. My big thing is please follow through with the process of application. Go online, get on there, register for the conference, then attend that conference. Once you get that email and the day of conference, attend that conference and then do the application and follow through with that, because we can't help you unless you follow through with that application to the program. So please follow through. And as Astor talked about, we do also require one prerequisite, and it's the Bio 137. You have to have that with at least a C or better prior to entering into the program. But if you don't have that, you can get that during the summer. So go ahead and apply.
Great. Thank you so much. Did you want to add anything, Jill?
Just remember, most students are getting a lot of classes through high school right now. You probably have most of what you need. So if you're a high school senior right now and you're interested in the program, apply. We'd love to see you, love to have you. We've had students straight out of high school plenty of times.
Oh, thank you so much. And next we've got Delilah and Sarah. Respiratory, any last thoughts?
First, I want to make a correction. I know I thought about it after I had spoken, but our next pre-admission conference date is March 28th, not February 28th. So I'm living in past time. So
The semester's going fast, Delilah. It's going fast.
So March the 28th, we would love to see you guys. And Jill brought out a really good point. Dual credit is great for our high school juniors and seniors. If you're thinking about it, if you're a junior, get those dual credits in, and you can finish those up and be ready to start the program as soon as you graduate. So that's a good thing. Another thing too that I forgot to mention is that respiratory therapists are also, when you take your board exam for respiratory therapy, that is a national credential as well. So you can work anywhere within the United States and the Bahamas, I believe it is. So, it's a national board certification. All you would have to do is apply for a license in the state that you want to work in. Miss Sarah,
Wow, that's good to know.
Yes, great.
I think you've covered it pretty well. Just that, if you're thinking about respiratory therapy, you're not going to regret it. It's an extremely rewarding career with lots of opportunities. If you get tired of doing one thing, there's always something else for you to go explore in the field. And we look forward to your application and hopefully having you as a student.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's one more exciting thing that's coming to respiratory. It isn't in Kentucky yet, but it is in the works. It will be very soon, I'm sure, and that is the advanced practice respiratory therapist. So it doesn't have to stop with just your associate's degree. Get your bachelor's degree, and then later on get your your master's degree as a mid-level provider, which is equivalent to a nurse practitioner. So we are bringing that to the respiratory field. Actually, Sarah and I are both on that committee to try to get that passed in Kentucky. So we're looking forward to that. That's coming.
That's great. That's exciting. Well, Astor, you get to have the last word.
That's awesome. We need students. We need students, and I would say that last pre-admission conference is on Monday, March the 21st at 3 p.m. Go to our website. The hospitals need radiographers, and that's the main thing. Is there's lots of good jobs out there, a good career, and we also have a advanced. It's called a radiology assistant. That is on the same level. It's they work immediately with the radiologist doing some different things, and this is a bachelor's degree. At this time, locally, we have a few working in some of our larger facilities. But then the degree at this time is like a bachelor's degree. You got to have 2 years experience as a radiographer. And then I'm thinking in Virginia is our closest program for that. But radiography, the regional radiography program needs students. We only have the last pre-admission conference is on Monday. We need people to come in and apply or log on and apply. And then also, Tracy said a while ago, we need people to follow up on their application, not just their application, but make sure their file's complete. Because what we do is we have people come to the pre-admission conference and not follow through completing their application for the program or completing their application to the college. So I encourage people to apply and then to make sure and check that their file is complete so we can look at them for admissions. We need students, and we're ready to educate them for our field.
Great. Well, I want to thank everyone for being here today. If I were looking for a career, I think each one of you have sold me on your program. So it may be one day if I change careers, you've got me excited about all of them. I mean, I think any of these fields, as you've said, they're wide open here locally. Throughout the country, there are jobs available. And most importantly, I think, these are jobs that really make a difference in people's lives. These are our caregivers. These are the people who are out on the front lines. These are our heroes during the pandemic. And, there's so many wonderful opportunities here. And we are here for those of you at Southeast who want to take advantage of these opportunities and join these remarkable healthcare workers out in the field. We've got the information about all of these programs up on our Southeast website, and don't hesitate to reach out by phone or through email to any of our contacts. They would love to hear from you, and they can answer your questions.